FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Does paleoanthropology have anything to say about the human capacity for art? I mean, it doesn't seem like our ancestors, like the Neanderthals or the chimps, had that capacity, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to confer any survival advantage. In fact, you can almost define art as all the stuff that we do that doesn't have much of a survival advantage. But at the same time, you can see human cultures that have been really stressed by survival pressure still spending all this time to produce things like art, like the Nazca lines or whatever. So
did Mick Jagger's artistic ability have anything to do maybe with his ability to find potential partners? A lot of people have actually tried to explain expression of art kind of like a peacock's feathers. What you're actually doing is advertising the quality of your neural circuitry. You're showing what your brain can do. You're saying, my brain is healthy. And if a brain is an important feature to being a human, then that actually might be very valuable, right? And I've heard people explain art that way, but it's kind of an example of a just-so story, right?
Yeah, the mystery of the appeal of musicians, I think, is an eternal one that I've often wrestled with. But no, I guess the question about the adaptive value of art, I would take it, I think Henry's perspective is a useful one. Another way of looking at sort of the role of art is, again, it gets back to it's a symbolic behavior. And that ability to manipulate symbols can have potentially very useful effects, such as our ability to gather a whole bunch of people in this room. That's only possible because of communication with symbols to get a whole bunch of people together. Now, in this case, I think what we're doing is pretty benign, but if you wanted to organize in one group a raid against another group, you're manipulating symbols. Now, we don't think of that necessarily in the same category as art, but they both rely upon the use of symbols. And I mean, it's certainly not my area, but my understanding that there's quite a lot of scholarship in art history pointing out about the intentional manipulation of art to serve maybe more practical ends. So I guess that would be I sort of agree with Henry's perspective, that would be another answer as to how art might have gotten started. It may have been the utility of symbolic communication, and then one of the offshoots, one of the modifications of that becomes art, because since we're so highly cognitive today, we're not necessarily constrained by having to be utilitarian anymore, even if that's how it began.